Hi guys, so I'm back and yes, I was on this podcast, the whatever podcast, and I know I probably came across really harsh, but when we have people in society who are not checked by their actions, then this is what you get. You get a panel of girls who use their bodies to make money. And I do think that there's a difference between modeling and being a hoe. Modeling, doing hoish type shit. But these girls don't want to admit it. They want to be able to do what they want with their bodies. And no matter how vile it is, they don't want you to speak about it, even if they're doing it all out in public. But without further ado, let's get into it. Mary here, she's from a podcast from Tim. I remember seeing her on Timcast in real life, IRL, and I remember when I was seeing, I was like, she looks so familiar, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of hers. I'm a fan of their show, so she has way more experience, I think, with firing off. There's times I just don't want to hurt people's feelings too much, because if I do, I would have said some shit. I was holding back so bad. But one of these days I'll have my own podcast where I'll have people come on who are willing to, debate this stuff. But yes, it will be heated because I really do think this type of behavior needs to be weeded out and bullied. So this topic that we're looking into is the bullying part. And yes, let's talk about it.
Amazing, sure. And if they wanted them, but
The whole kids bullying thing, kids are gonna get bullied inevitably. You could say kids are gonna get bullied because of your genetics.
Is doing porn the same thing
no,
as
if we're thinking about
or
protecting our kids from getting bullied, if I have a weird nose and I have a kid, then it might have a weird nose.
That's not a choice though. Doing porn is a choice.
Well, the difference there is, kids are fucking brutal, especially 13-year-old boys.
And they
They're
should
gonna
be.
like,
This is the thing. These anti-bullying campaigns need to stop.
oh, you
We've
have
done nothing but damage to society.
All right,
so
we
it's
have.
okay to make people feel like shit about themselves. And
No, I actually do believe, I've said that before, we need to bring bullying back, we need to bring shaming back, because when you have shame, when you have bullying, with bullying, I feel like people learn how to overcome things, though, not everyone is a school shooter. A lot of them tend to grow up, right? And when they grow up, they oftentimes turn into these butterflies that do wonderful things for society. It's the only ones who peak in high school who are the real bullies, and they know they will only be their best in high school, which is a shame because you're so young. But when you don't have bullying, you don't ever learn how to address adversary. And then as far as shame, I definitely think that needs to come back, because that will prevent people. It's a deterrent from keeping people from doing stupid ass shit in society and degenerate shit in our society and not being called for it. Imagine if someone just walking around naked, just fucking out in the street. You don't think that should be shamed? I know it's a freaking crime too, but still, it should be shamed. People are going to shame that. And if someone says, oh, you shouldn't shame them, you should just let them live their lives while they're out in the street fucking, I am most definitely going to say something about it. I'm most definitely going to shame them. There are some things that should be shamed. And a lot of people who don't want to, why is it always coming from women? It's always coming from women, because they know the shit that they're doing and they just don't want to be held accountable for it. It's so fucking it's annoying as fuck. It's so annoying.
bully them and say, "Oh, you're ugly. Oh, you're this."
Mary is.
I don't think I'm literally right. I'm literally right.
Okay.
But what if it's not their fault? What if someone has really?
This
bad
is how
skin
kids
or
learn to
something?
socialize. This is how society is always formed.
I feel like Mary was bullied as a child.
We can't protect all
Oh,
kids.
Literally everyone was bullied and has been a bully.
Yeah, some more than others.
Are you? It was Mary bullied. You think?
I don't know.
I've
I'm
been
getting
both.
she gives me the vibes I was
Mary,
bullied as a child, so
you
now
bullied?
I want to bully people.
You bullied?
I bullied people.
Yeah, Nicolette was probably one of those bullies, and that's probably why she went into whatever. She probably went into that because, she thought her shit doesn't stink. No one ever told her anything to put her in her place. And the way that she acted on that panel literally did prove it. But when, I will say this, I don't think she's really like that on the inside. When I was talking to her in the elevator, I think this is just a persona like so many women put on when it's about their OnlyFans, when it's about their stripping. They know good and well that shit is eating them up inside, but they put on this fucking face and act and pretend like they're brave about it when they step out into the world, knowing good and well they're going to get shamed and should be shamed. But they can't walk away from it because why? Money, greed. That's another reason why it should be shamed.
I was also bullied. It's a thing that a lot of kids do.
You're never gonna get
And
it.
you don't need to act holier than thou about it. Kids are always going to bully each other.
I feel like bullying has been around forever. You can't get rid of it. It helps, like.
And if you care so much about what
Kids
men
need to be
think,
bullied so they don't end up being furries when they grow up.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Wait, yo, Rachel, confirm or deny. Were you like a vicious bully?
I was bullied.
Come
Dead
Okay,
ass.
was Brecky the bully?
No.
Brecky the bully. That was your
I
nickname.
was bullied, but and I had brought up this question to them in this because I know they're full. Those women are full of lies. They're full of shit. I got bullied a lot in school, and it was never by boys. It was always by girls. But then again, I wasn't a slut or a whore in high school either. A lot of people just thought I was a tomboy. I either played sports a lot, and I would get picked on because I have, scars from chickenpox. A lot of people don't I will one day give a story behind my tattoos, but a lot of people when they look at my tattoos, they think I'm like a lot of these leftists. There's a story behind all of my tattoos, and a lot of it, all of it, I wouldn't say a lot of it, all of it comes from not being able to build up my self-esteem when I was younger because of all the scars chickenpox left on my body. So this is one of the reasons why I don't give a shit whether or not someone doesn't like me because of my tattoos. I am the only one who knows the reason why I got these tattoos. And it was because of the massive bullying that I got from girls, not boys, girls.
I was a little bit feisty when I was younger.
It was Lauren, wasn't it? Major bully.
I don't
Major bully. Okay, so the difference is though, to Mary's point, when it comes to bullying, you did say yes, bullying happens regardless. However, if you've engaged in sex work, I was saying 13-year-old kids, they're fucking teen boys are fucking brutal, and they don't. I feel like when you're a young kid, you don't quite have developed the sense of empathy that you will develop as you become an adult. Not to say it's impossible, however, they're going to be like, yo, I saw your mom fucking on the internet. I saw her sucking some dude's dick.
Risk for more bullying because of that, so you just gotta be okay with the consequences with it.
Yeah, but like...
The kids didn't consent to the consequences of your actions.
but they're her kids.
Right.
So
So the one thing I will say about the redhead, I think, the last episode I saw was with her and her boyfriend. Oh, Jesus, my thoughts about her is a little different. But when I will say from her demeanor in that room, at least she's willing to accept the consequences. She's the only one that I've seen in all of their videos at least admit, like, the rest of these girls are in fucking denial, and they lie to themselves, they lie to all these other girls, but at least the redhead is willing to admit and probably will be prepared for if she does have kids. She's probably going to be prepared, or maybe not, when it comes to the backlash of her actions from, the past. So only time will tell. For most of these girls, time will tell.
But like,
It's
I think you guys are judging them very strongly on the basis they're making
on the basis of their choices. The
Yeah,
things that you should
their
judge
choices,
people
not
on.
yours. And I understand your beliefs and how you feel, but honestly, sitting here listening to you guys kind of degrade them, they understand what industry they're in, they understand
with their
what
line of
they're
work.
doing. But honestly, I don't think they see it that way, and that's totally fine.
And that's how the rest of the world will see
But
it.
who
their
cares what
way.
the rest of the world
Okay, then
thinks?
you can't get mad if they bully your kid.
I'm
You can't get
not mad.
mad.
I didn't say anything about
All
being
you
mad.
guys are. So it is so true. Okay, so I don't even know why. I don't even know why she got like these three here. Oh, I can't. You probably can't see my mouse, but Becca, the blonde, the brunette, and the Asian chick. They're only doing OnlyFans, so they haven't dipped their toe into doing porn or stripping. So I don't even know why she's even getting offended unless she's trying to go into that industry herself and looking at the repercussions of us talking about the ones who choose to be this way. Also, I think both the Asians are not. I think the Asian that's sitting next to the redhead, I totally forgot if she has OnlyFans. I don't think she has OnlyFans, but these other ones here, like, I will only think that you're only going to offended about this because you're thinking about going into that industry too. And if you are, I would advise that you don't, because there's consequences to this shit. And if you think women are being hard on those two, imagine what men are. Imagine how men would be. You think they would be as nice? No. They'll pay your ass to fucking leave. They won't build any fucking emotional relationships or ties with you because you are disgusting. You're nasty. You're tainted. They don't want you. But keep acting like it's only women who judge them for their fucking treachery and their whorish ass ways. It's men too, and they are much more brutal. You can't get mad if they bully your kid. You can't get mad.
I didn't say anything about
All
being
you
mad.
guys are.
I'll bully them
You're
back.
getting-
I'll be like, don't bully my kid.
At least she's willing to accept. She understands. But to sit here and think that no one's going to bully
I didn't
your
say that.
kids, think that you're not going to reap any repercussions from
Of
your
course,
actions.
there are going to be tons.
Okay, then you just gotta accept it. If they call you a harlot, they call you a harlot. You can't do anything about it.
I don't
Yeah,
think
so
anyone
my
ever
care-
said anything about not accepting that.
But what about your
so-
show? She just want to see. So she just sat there and was bitching at me me and Mary for bullying those other two girls and basically telling us to not do it because they don't want to accept the consequences, the reactions because of their the reaction to their actions. That is a form of consequence. So you are feeling a certain way about someone dishing to them the reality of their behaviors and how it's fucking disgusting and degrading in society and towards society. Kids.
I don't think anyone
But
said
when it
that.
comes to your
Fuck
kid, you're
them
gonna
kids.
say, when it comes to your kid, you're gonna say, oh, don't bully my kid, don't bully my kid, don't bully my kid. You can't sit here and say that you can't bully my kid based off of your actions. Your actions are literally on the internet for the whole world to see. You're setting your kid up for failure.
Everyone's gonna want to have sleepover at our house. That's
The
why.
fuck?
Ew, they don't want to get groomed.
What the? Ooh, spicy. Wait, so Mary, is your position that you want to bring back slut shaming? Is that your position?
Yeah. It never went away. It never went away.
Your
I believe that too. And I remember back in the day when I was going to school, I knew a girl who was a stripper and she went to a University of Florida. I'm not going to reveal her name, but she didn't go to my university because she was stripping in Tampa, but she was using it to actually pay for her education at University of Florida. There are women who do this, but they did this under the radar. And if anyone she knew from school was down in Tampa or whatever, and they saw her, she would go and to another strip club. She did not want this shit loud. There was a sort of like, obviously there was a social shame on this, but there was also some, I don't know what you want to call it, etiquettes or decorum or just, can't think of the word. God, it's right on the top of my tongue. But they knew that, hey, if I'm going to do this, I need this money to pay for college. So let me keep it on the down low as possible. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be, ridiculed for my actions. So I'm going to put it upon myself to stay under the radar and not let anyone know what's my business. Not anymore. It's all over for the world to see now. These girls are out of control. It's disgusting. And then now they want you to change your views on this because now they believe it's normalized. No.
Response to Mary being a proponent of slut shaming. Brecky.
I don't support that.
I don't think you should be mean to anyone. I think you should mind.
Man, fuck that. Because y'all don't understand. When you get to my age and you see how people have been such a slut and such a whore, you're gonna wonder why you can't find anybody.
1001 super chatted $100. Yes, it's their choices, actions/decisions, but you don't want to suffer the consequences, which is delusional.
Yo, Dragon's Talon, thank you, man.
I feel like you sound very jaded.
No, it's the truth. You guys are literally fucking up all the other women that come behind you. You don't think this is true? You don't think this is true? Back in the day when there's BET girls, black girls who just shaking their ass, you know how embarrassing it is for guys to come up to you and ask if you can shake your ass like this because of all these fucking stereotypes. They still do that when I'm at my age. You don't think it's real? You guys are literally you're making stereotypes for all women. And no one's putting you in your place like women back in the day used to.
And that's why we shouldn't judge based on because everyone's their own person. So we
back in the day we weren't having this problem. The mental gymnastics, you guys. The mental gymnastics that they will gaslight themselves into in order to justify their hoish and degenerate behavior. And, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people ask me, Leah, why aren't you married? I took, if you've watched this podcast, you probably would get some things from me. I'm an introvert. I don't really, it takes a lot for me to finally say something and be very forceful with it. A lot of times I'll just, whatever. But I, by nature, am very introvert. I love to be a homebody. So that right there also came as a side effect from being bullied too much in high school. And then being a nerd. So it's really hard for me to step out of my comfort zone and go out and meet guys. I would love to be, married and have a family. I mean, I started Airbnb because I needed to clean up after people. I needed to have someone to clean up after. I need to make sure, to keep my home nice. So I feel like I need a purpose. And, my most embarrassing moment that I've had goes back to my first boyfriend, Vladimir, shout out. I still do actually have feelings for him. He's a really dear friend of mine. I've known him since I was 18 years old. My longest friend, my longest friend just passed away, but he's my second longest friend. And I remember because I wanted to join the Army, I wanted to see what it was like, and they were having PT. So I was in JROTC, and I wanted to, I loved getting up and doing PT and all that great stuff when I was in JROTC. So when he was in the Army, I wanted to see what it was like to join them, get up early in the morning, and see what it's like running around the track and whatever. So once PT was over, I waited for him in the car, and I remember him jokingly coming back into the car and said that, I asked what the guys were talking about and all this other stuff, and I've never met all your friends. That was the first time meeting his friends, and I will never forget that these boys thought that I was a prostitute. I was 18 years old. They didn't have anything. They had nothing. Hadn't had a talk or a conversation or anything with me. But since the perception of women from BET and black women were loose hoes, and then I was in Tampa. There's Cross Fletcher, where you have prostitutes and all this other shit. Like, it was really embarrassing to hear that, and to them it might seem like a joke, but to have that as your stereotype, the first thing that comes out of your mouth is to think that I am a prostitute because I am black and I'm in a car and I'm 18 years old. It's fucking sick. And this is what, like, these women here can say whatever they want about society, but you will never change a man's mind on how they view women. And if you put yourself in a very, very, very specific box of being a hoe, being a prostitute, all that other stuff, that is what they will know you as. And then they will associate all the women who start to look, if they start to see a pattern of it, multiple women that look like you doing these same things, and it doesn't have to be around race, it can be based off of appearances. Appearances like girls with tattoos and piercings. Some of us are normal. Maybe I was a huge rocker because, well, they were against the establishment, and I loved anything that was against the establishment when I was in foster care. But, like, you cannot change society's mind when they see a pattern. In mathematics, we call that a fucking formula. But you cannot have them, or equation. You cannot change a whole group in society's way of thinking about a certain group of people if they see certain patterns and certain certain patterns and events around that particular group. That's how stereotypes become known. I don't even see them as stereotypes. I'm like, they're a pattern. A pattern is not a stereotype. A pattern will give you insight into the group thinking or just the culture of a particular person, or a culture from which a particular person comes from. But call me crazy or whatever for actually seeing this with my own eyes. And call me crazy for actually having gone through it to actually see what the damage of what those past girls did for girls like me. It took me completely out of the market. I didn't want to even be involved with men. I've never had like a, yeah, this is long. I've never had, you know what, I'll come back to this.
Problem. You saw people get married. It's obviously more common now because of social media and OnlyFans and all of this, but people were like hoes in the 1800s.
And you know what's more common too? Women not getting married. Women becoming more single mothers too. That's common as well.
Well, I mean,
I don't think any of us are single mothers here.
Oh my God! Really, stop thinking about you and just in general. In general, okay?
Well, I'm talking about right here, right now.
In general, when it just comes to women and their future prospects, all right? I'm telling you this from just personal experience, from what other black girls have done. They've made it so that anytime I go, do you even date black girls? Do you even date white guys? Do you date Asian? Who the fuck thinks like that? When I look at a guy, I'm like, you know, I like you. I think you're attractive. The last thing I want some guy to think is that, hey, oh, I wonder if this black girl does it like this, or this girl does it like that, or she's gonna take me for all my money. That's what you guys don't understand.
That's literally racist of them to do that.
It doesn't matter if it's racist or not. I guess when it comes to this, like, you have all different, okay, so, and this, for me, just from being in the military, I've had seen guys who have dated women who all they've done is take their money. So now you have a group of men out there who will think that, oh, if I see a nice girl and she looks this, oh my God, I have to think about this. Will she take me for all my money? I don't know. Men do think like this. When is she gonna cheat on me? The crazy, man. Let me tell you guys about a little. I started about a little, how could I say, open, when you're trying to do like an opening, icebreaker. So this is what I mean by this, and I did not bring any of this into the conversation. I wish I would have. I'm getting on dating sites because, yeah, I am getting older, and I've taken myself out for so long that I don't know, it just gets lonely. So I am now in this genre of women that have to contest with men who ask me within like a couple of times of us seeing each other, can I not be with anyone else? Can I not fuck anyone else? Can I not be with anyone else? Can it just be us? And I'm going through my mind when I'm reading these messages, I'm trying to understand where they're coming from. Because I am a serial monogamous. I like to be with one person. I have ADHD, and the last thing I want to do is call Jim Tom and Tom Kathy. I don't want to. I don't have the bandwidth for it. It's exhausting. However, this must be a phenomenon that's going on a lot, because it wasn't just one guy asking me this. Multiple men are asking me this, which to me concludes or deduces that women are out here fucking more than one man at the same time. That's the only conclusion I have. Or else why would they be asking me this shit? And I'm like, I've gotten the same thing with like, oh my God, you look so pretty, like your pictures. What the fuck did you think I was going to look like? What are women doing out there that's making it so bad that men are they're so scared to meet you or second guessing when they meet you? Oh my God, is she gonna look like my picture? Is she actually gonna look like the girl in the photos? Am I gonna be lied to? This is actually going on. This is not some made up fantasy in my brain. This is actually going on. But this is all men's fault, right? The dating world is all men's fault. They're to blame? No. We have a large hand in that. And a lot of it comes from a lot of it comes from, I don't even want to say that word, but these girls are nice. And these girls are nice when it came to talking. I don't really like talking to girls and calling them bitches and stuff like that if I'm having a conversation with them. It's a whole nother thing if I'm, on my screen and, by myself. But if I'm going to have a conversation with you, I'm not going to call you what I would on my little excerpts of these videos. So yes, maybe I was a little bit harsh. Maybe I wasn't as creative I won't even say creative. Maybe I wasn't as forthcoming with my own experience to give them an example as to why when you do certain things in society and you live a certain way in society, or a group of people start to live a certain way in society, they will be perceived and as that. And there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do except to change it. If you want things to get better, start acknowledging the shitty things that are happening in society and put an end to it. But people know they don't want to do this. Oh crap.
That is just what's happening out there. Do you guys have any guy friends?
What should we do about it?
I'm gonna still be a slut. Sorry.
The whole saying about, be a lady in the street and a freak in the bed. Y'all ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Then why don't you guys act that way?
Because we don't want to. We just want to be sluts.
So when you get called out for being a slut out in public, do you care?
I know for Mary. I did hear Mary actually say that, but I didn't want to look at her and be like, Mary's... she'll learn about this when she does, get with a man and, get married and she loses her virginity. Of course you want to be a lady in the street. Obviously, a man don't want a fucking lay log in the bedroom. You're going to be a little bit freaky. You're going to be a little bit more like, or else you're going to find it somewhere else. That's some more, that's the whole, I guess, euphemism around the whole be a lady in the street and a freak in the bed. It's how to keep your man home. And then, obviously, you need to cook and clean and all this other stuff. But if you don't want him going somewhere else, guess what, ladies? You have to do it.
Care about the consequences that come with that?
No.
Do you want to change that? What
I'm gonna be driving away in my Mercedes, like, bye.
Okay, so what about your daughters, your future daughters, if you have any? Do you want them being looked at how you guys are looking at yourselves right now?
Obviously, I don't condone it, but I definitely say whatever you're comfortable with, and I say look, if your kid's bullying my kid because of what I did online, I feel like that's screwed
Maybe
up.
you should set an example so that she wouldn't get bullied.
Even if I set an example, people are still gonna get bullied.
So you think that spreading your legs is something to be proud of? Y'all really think that?
As women, why should our value be?
Okay, I kind of went off on that because I couldn't understand this. It's like no matter what, these women or give me every excuse to just sleep around, and that it's like their right to sleep around, and that you shouldn't judge me, and that I shouldn't be ashamed for doing this. When, hey, you're not in the 1800s. Back in the day, when, you know why a lot of women went into that stuff back then? Their fathers. If their fathers were around, they relied on their fathers to take care of them. However, if at a time, you know, your father wasn't around, or he died or passed away, and he didn't leave you anything, your ass was left to sell your body. You were sent to the brothels. You didn't have a choice if you wanted to survive, or you joined a nun or a church, became a nun. This was the reality. But yet you have today in our society where women can literally choose to do anything here in America, and they will still choose sex, prostitution, porn, OnlyFans to get easy money, and then say it's their right. You can't make this shit up.
Be like our kids. Like I don't plan on having kids. I don't think all women.
Well, our value as women is innately our ability.
They didn't say all that, but you are saying that. You're saying that in everything that you do. You're saying that in everything that you post, and all the money that you make just to get your materialistic bullshit that will fade into the background, be devalued. I forgot what that word. Lose its value over time unless you get a piece of property. But y'all like this is something to be so proud of. You'll shame a man who doesn't do this. You'll shame a man who makes $50,000 or $60,000 just working hard, or even $40,000 just working hard. These types of women will. They'll shame that man while they fucking blast their ass all over the fucking internet just to make some money. You really can't make this shit up. But this is enough of this. It's been like 30 minutes. Sorry. Yeah, I will put the link in the back, link in the description, so you guys can watch the whole entire thing. Bye-bye.